So, welcome to my let's play of Sound of Drop, Fall into Poison. It's an horror, a visual novel story kind of game. So let's start. I like the title music, the title music. Is it the title music or is it the main menu music? Okay, now we're in the jungle. Before she realized it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to Manton Aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays, she watched the jellyfish, and finally she decided it was time to go home. And the music sounds like Fifth Element. Where is this? She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off onto a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. Ooh. The girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. And now she's dead. She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes, were swimming about. Why isn't this an exhibit? It's totally like the Fifth Element. She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in mid-air. The entirety of the room was the fish and the ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Like it's happening every day. Wasn't there originally a deep-sea fish booth that was shut down? Oh. She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she had gotten home after all of that. But more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it suddenly was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water, she couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red color. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale, the wind flooding her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More. At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Only then could she breathe. Now everything would be fine. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. Okay, that was a creepy story. That was loud. Drip drip, exactly like the sound you heard through the mic. Maybe. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds and all of the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it, the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Drip drop, the sound of blood. Drip drip. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. That single drop. I stopped it with both hands. The sound of that solitary red drop. Okay. Why does the clock doesn't have any arms? Are they called arms? I think. See? We will never know how late it is. Oh, hi there. Oh, hi there. You look sad. Or at least there's an urban legend that goes like that. So we are Mayumi, I think. Oh, this is Mayumi and this, I forgot her name, Hidemo. Talking about Mountain Aquarium again. It's a new thing, isn't it? While stuffing her lunch into her mouth, Tamagawa Himeno spoke, her eyes sparkling. I had no idea which point in the story got her so excited. That's right. Isn't this the scariest part? That the girl jumped to her death, smiling, after coming back from Mountain Aquarium. It's pretty bad. Yet, you don't seem the least bit scared, Himeno. That's not true. I've got chills running down my spine. Someone who's got chills running down her spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. And hey, that's my meatball. During a break in the conversation, Himeno stole a side dish from my boxed lunch. This minced meat from growing calves and little piglets, it's the best. Why do you have to put it like that? Gee, why'd you have to make me lose my appetite? I'll give you the rest of it. Alright, I take it. Edge. Himeno takes the rest of the meatballs from my lunch with amazing rhythm. The reason that I, Nakanobe Mayumi, lost my appetite wasn't because Himeno's story scared me. Mountain Aquarium and I are connected in a way that I'd rather not think about. Of course, Himeno has no idea about that connection. If she knew, she'd never mention Mountain Aquarium around me again. At the same time, I've been afraid that this thing might cause Himeno to stop talking to me. Himeno is pretty much my only friend. Oh, we're developing a typical anime story here. It isn't that I haven't talked to anyone since entering junior high, just that the only person I can actually call a friend is Himeno. Seriously, I think this whole Mountain Aquarium rumor obsession is getting to be a bit much. Maybe. There's so many rumors though, like that there's a man's ghost in the tanks, that the deep sea fish booth is only open on a full moon, that the water changes into blood, or that you can hear crying from behind the tanks. That earlier one goes with this one, also. No, that's fine, you don't need to say anymore. I say firmly, causing Himeno to make a sour face. Soon after, Himeno changes the subject, first to a TV drama that aired the night before, then to some cute fake nails with cats on them she found in a magazine. She then talks about a classmate who was dating a boy from a nearby private school, alighting on one subject before quickly changing to the next. Normally the subject of Mountain Aquarium shouldn't have popped up again. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. Huh? What exactly are we getting back to? Mountain Aquarium. I looked into it, and this Sunday will be a full moon. Huh? That was all I could say, the rest of my words unable to come out. So we should go and see if the rumors are true or not. But I know you aren't interested in stuff like urban legends, Mayu. But next week we start preparing for the end of the semester, and I won't be able to hang out with you. Lately, we haven't gone anywhere together, have we? If the full moon was next Sunday, I'm sure Himeno wouldn't have said anything. But I suspect, because it happens to be this Sunday, and next week happens to be our exams, she has chosen Mountain Aquarium. I know that I'm not hiding my confusion or my hesitation very well. Even so, Himeno turns her carefree grin my way. It's a cat grin. Since it's an aquarium, even if the rumors aren't true, we can still have fun, right? I bet the rumors are kind of true. Well, that's true. Usually, anywhere I go with Himeno, I have fun. Whether or not we would have fun was not what I was worried about. By the way, Mayu, in the east building of Mountain Aquarium, they have Häagen-Dazs. as in the eat-in restaurant. They had closed up at one point, but it looks like they're reopening for a limited time. Really? Really? They have the cookies and cream flavor you like too, Mayu. Of course I hesitate, but in the end that settles it. I have a bad connection to this aquarium, but Haagen-Dazs cookie and cream ice cream. Who can say no to that? Then we will go. As long as we definitely get some cookies and cream. Saying you have no money because you did too much shopping is out of the question. I know. After all, I'm something of a glutton myself. Fine, fine. In the end, we settle on Menton Aquarium and ice cream for Sunday. Since I have already received my reward money for moving on to the next grade, I don't need to worry about my allowance. Still, it's been 5 years. Did you say something, Mayu? Nope, nothing. I bite my tongue, covering the words that had carelessly spilled out. I'm looking forward to the aquarium. It's probably been about 10 years. Oh. I'm looking forward to the cookies and cream. It's probably been about 10 years. That's not true. It's the truth. It's the only thing I'll eat there. Himeno goes, you little... As she playfully stretches my cheeks, the end of lunch chime sounds and Himeno goes back to her own seat. If it's with Himeno, I'll be fine. That's what I taught myself at the time. Oh, it's a flashback. Sound of drop. Fall into poison. So chapter 1 is finished, the introduction is finished, I guess. No, we only even have 20 minutes. Sunday is 3 days after that. The day I promised to go with Himeno to Menton Aquarium has arrived. We are to meet at noon at the Menton Show station. As is customary for me, I arrive 30 minutes early. Just like me in here. I hate people who are being too late. Leaning against a pillar, I do nothing but space out. Great pillar you have behind you. There's nothing behind you. Tons of people pass before me. Menton is really crowded on days off. Even so, there aren't really that many families or groups of students, everyone around me appearing to be adults. Because of that, I quickly begin to feel uneasy. I watched enough hentai to know that I shouldn't board the train alone with that skirt and all these adult men, businessmen especially. Within this crowd, I am alone. Inexplicably, my head begins to hurt. I wonder if Himeno will be here soon. I like the music in this game. I mutter to myself, then look at my shoes. Deep blue sandal boots that were this year's newest product. When Mom and I had stopped off at the department store on Saturday, she bought them for me after some coaxing on my part. They were far from what you'd call high quality, but they were still a bit pricey on a junior high schooler's allowance. I'm not usually the type of bag, but I couldn't take my eyes off of these boots. My mom bought them with almost no resistance, saying, "You're going out of town, so you need to look your best." That's nice. I like both their form and their color, and found them a better fit for the summer season than anything else. Because we're making progress. I take my cell phone out and check the time. There are still 15 minutes to go until we're to meet. Since Himeno is always 3 minutes later than the time we establish, I've got about another 20 minutes. 15 plus 3 isn't 20. I finished reading my paperback on the train, so I have nothing to kill time with, except there are some things to read in the background. There's nothing I can do about it, so I decide to keep myself from boredom by watching the people passing by. If I don't keep myself distracted, horrible thoughts will revive in my mind. I'm always worrying about what will happen if I'm late though. It had actually been about a month and a half since Himeno and I had gone out. We always talked at school, but rarely spent time together afterwards. Anyone who saw us probably thought we were opposites. Outings like this aside, I often spent my days off at home. When I was in elementary school, our family would go out often, but lately that's been limited to dining out on Saturdays. So when I'm asked what I do when I stay at home, I usually just say I do nothing. Doing homework and watching TV is stuff that seems pretty common to me. On the other end of the spectrum is Jimeno, who goes out regularly. I often hear stories of when she went to karaoke on weeknights or about how she traveled out of town on Sundays. She's a member of an active sports club and often wants to hang out with them afterwards. Going out of town on the already limited days we have off tends to make me think, even though it's a day to rest, I don't feel rested at all. In other words, something like this is the difference between Jimeno and I. Without much common ground between us, why we became friends is... Oh. Suddenly, the light fades from my vision. It wasn't just that it had become dark, but that I had the sensation of being unable to breathe. But rather than sweeting it, I get a little mad. Oh girl, you got a huge wreck. Sorry. Hearing my wordless protest, Jimeno put her hands away. I get playing the Who Am I game while covering someone's eyes. But covering up someone's mouth too was just like Jimeno. Yeah, suffocating your own friend in a public train station is so much fun. When I puff out my cheeks and object, Jimeno just smiles at me. It's because you were staring into space, Mario. Oh. Instead of apologizing, Jimeno blew on the nape of my neck. Without thinking, I made a weird sound. Embarrassed, I looked around 2 or 3 times, but the pedestrians walking by seemed unperturbed and didn't even look our way. I got some kind of, I just say a lesbian vibe going on here. The culprit who had surprised me moves in front of me before I realize it. You mean, Jimeno? But I got to hear something good. No, you didn't. Moreover, you're... As I say that, I check the time on my smartphone. It's 3 minutes to noon, our agreed upon meeting time. It's not time yet. How rare. It's rude, gee. I make you make a weird noise again. Oh god. Saying that, Jimeno opens and closes her fingers in small, swift, grasping motions. At times like this, I know I had better change the subject or get messed with by Jimeno again. Oh, by the way, did you buy a new one? You mean my necktie? Yes, I did. I thought I should get one to match my shorts. You and I haven't hung out since around midterms, Mario. If I buy something today, I'll really be out of money. What about the aquarium? You still set on finding out about the urban legends then? Of course, that's my #1 goal. But as usual, I can't count the things I want to do on just one hand. Okay, I get it. As long as I eat cookies and cream, that is absolute. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, Mario, aren't your sandals new? Jimeno says as she looked at my feet, talking about 3 times as fast as she does in class. Yeah, nice, aren't they? They're super cute. Oh cool, I want a pair too. Nope. Then we will be too similar. These are the only pair of sandals I have for the summer. Talking like this, it put me at ease. Unlike myself, who is childish, Jimeno knows a lot about fashion and trends. Even here in Manton, it seems like she blends in. Most importantly, by being with Jimeno and constantly chatting, I no longer feel lonely. That's the point of a conversation, Mario. Oh yeah, Jimeno, why did you bring such a huge bag? Which we don't see. I'm glad you asked. With a hee, Jimeno opens the Boston bag she had let sink down from her shoulder. A variety of things come out, such as a flashlight, insect repellent, a simple blanket, a first aid kit, matches and snacks like chocolate and cookies. What is all this? Jimeno, where do you plan on going? Ignoring the twitch developing in my face, Jimeno thumps her chest. Gee, to the aquarium. But since we're investigating urban legends, we should at least have some supplies. Rather than an investigation, the equipment she has reminds me more of going camping in the mountains. The snacks and blanket aside. Where in a city this size would we need insect repellent or a flashlight? This means we need to 100%, I'm sure of it, the insect repellent and the flashlight. I kept those feelings to myself and just smiled. I let out a breath that is half exasperated, half amused. I don't get sick of being with Himeno. Whether Himeno is aware of my ex-separated gaze or not, she starts to take something out, then quickly shoves it back in. She gives me a smile implying some secret. No wait, it's too soon for you to see that. What were you about to pull out? I'm not telling. I hope it's not between your legs. Upon saying that, Himeno quickly closed the bag. The way I see it, it is a wonder she fit all of the supplies she had out just a moment ago. I wonder where it's all being stored. By the way, no club today? I asked with the underlying question of whether or not today is the day off for the club. At my question, Himeno averts her eyes. Nope, probably. No club today. Really? Giving a brief answer, I start walking. Upon hearing her reply, I immediately understand it as, she skipped it again. But not wanting to ruin the merry mood, I merely quicken my pace. I'm not in any clubs, but even I know it's not good to skip. Speaking honestly, I want her to show up for her club, as she seems to be respected even by students from other schools. Coming here together like this makes me equally guilty though. Once I get thinking, I don't usually stop, so the conversation shifts to a ramen shop that catches my eye. Oh, Mayu, do you want to get lunch? Huh? You caught that? I thought we were getting cookies and cream. Feeling as if she has seen right through me, we head into a nearby coffee shop. Why not the ramen shop? Girl, it is apparently famous following its coverage in a magazine for a sandwich that was overflowing with vegetables. I say apparently because on excitedly finding the restaurant, Himeno shared this. Compared to a hamburger shop, this place is a bit intimidating and trendy to me, but since I'm with Himeno, it doesn't bother me. Shoving the roast chicken sandwich with extra olives that I ordered into my mouth, the unease I have been feeling disappears. In contrast to my fervor, Himeno eats her avocado and shrimp sandwich in small bites. But then, about our plans for today. Himeno starts in as soon as we have finished eating. We will start with the aquarium, no matter what, that's the main thing. So we will look into the odd man's ghost and the closed off deep sea fish booth rumors. After that, we will go to the shops and finally have some ice cream. I think it's better to get the cookies and cream first. If you eat 2 times, you mess up your stomach and get fat. You won't be able to wear a bathing suit. That's not how it works. Himeno, it's not fair for you to put it that way. It isn't fair. Himeno is in the exercise club, so she will be fine. But for someone like me who doesn't exercise enough, it makes me stop and think. Having said I wanted to go to the pool, it is all the more important. Okay, then we will stick with my plan. That was a delicious meal. Urged on by Himeno, I decide to leave the ice cream shop for another time. We're making here safe. How do I save? Oh, right click, okay. So I hope you enjoyed this part so far and to see you in the next one of... Damn it, I just got the deep sea fish booth in my mind now. Sound of Drop. Fall into Poison. See you then.